When I started getting Netflix level breakdowns, I was not a better actor than I'd been 6 months earlier. I had the same craft, same coaches, same techniques I was using, and people I went to school with who are way more talented than me are still not getting these streaming level breakdowns. They're at home, they're brilliant, they're waiting for their inbox for an email that's probably not coming. The reason has absolutely nothing to do with talent. It is one very specific moment in the casting process that almost nobody actually trains for. And it's the moment most actors don't even realize is happening. So here are the 5 things you do not understand about that moment. The moment your name lands in front of a Netflix level casting director, you're gonna get an inside look at the decisions that's actually blocking you from those auditions. So you can stop trying to win the audition and start winning the moment that produces the audition. Plus, I'll share the one shift that flipped my Netflix auditions from rare to expected. So if you are at home sharpening your audition technique while wondering why no Netflix level breakdowns are coming in for you, you're basically training the wrong layer of your career. And here's what most actors miss. So the casting process is pretty plain. The casting director posts a breakdown, your representative, either agent or manager, submits you with the materials you already have on file. That's your resume, your reel or recent footage of yourself, your headshot, and then like any pitch points, notes that your rep adds to it. The casting director then opens that information up from that submission, they look at the materials, and they decide whether to invite you to even audition based on what they see. So what I'm trying to highlight here is that decision, that yes or no to the audition invite, happens before any performance is involved at all from you for that project. So when you're not getting those Netflix level auditions, the block is almost never your craft. The block is that the casting director looked at your submission package and didn't see enough reason to give you a slot to audition with. The audition you didn't get isn't a verdict on your acting, it is a verdict on your materials. Whew, I'm feeling passionate about this. Most actors spend years sharpening the wrong thing. They take more classes, they drill self-tape techniques, they obsess over the read, and meanwhile, the actual decision is being made one layer earlier, at the submission moment, where a casting director is looking at a resume, a reel, and a headshot and saying yes or no to whether you even get the invite to audition. Now, okay, there is one quick exception worth naming. At higher levels, a casting director can offer a role directly to an actor they already know well. That's called a direct offer. There's no submission filter, no auditioning, but for most working actors trying to enter the Netflix level conversation, the direct offer is rare. The submission moment is where the decision actually happens. That is the moment you have to learn to win. So once you flip your attention to that moment, to the materials moment, your entire approach to getting Netflix level auditions change. Like, this is exactly what the first phase of the working actor's blueprint is built around, and it's for a purpose, because we focus on the identity blueprint and the essence engine. Because if your materials don't say in one read what you are for at the streaming level, no casting director is going to be able to know what you're for either. Thing 2 now is what those casting directors are actually scanning your materials for. Because here's the thing nobody teaches you in acting school, even though they should. A casting director scanning submissions for a streaming project is not looking for the most talented actor in the country. They are looking for the actor who is least likely to blow up the production. Let me explain. So when we have a casting director recommending an actor for a Netflix level role, they are not just hiring a performer. They are putting their own professional reputation on the line. If that actor melts down on set, or they can't take direction, or they don't deliver in the room itself, like, the producer remembers it was the casting director who put that actor there. So when the casting director is scanning a submission, they're not optimizing for the most talented person in the stack. They're optimizing for the actor whose materials make them 90% certain that actor will deliver on time, on tone, on craft, and on behavior. Predictability beats talent every single time at this level. And most actors are going to hear this and they feel insulted. They shouldn't. It's the most freeing thing you will ever hear because it tells you exactly what your materials have to do. So here's what predictability looks like inside a submission package. Number one, your resume reads as someone who has already done comparable work. Not, I've done lots of things, specifics. There is at least one credit on the resume that says this actor has already delivered at a similar quality level. That's the line that gets the casting director past their hesitations. Number two, so your reel now will pattern match the kind of work the breakdown is asking for. If the breakdown is grounded in a streaming drama and your reel is a broad comedy sketches and it's just one after another, casting does not see versatile. They see, oh no, they're in the wrong room. They should probably be going to check out with the other people down the street. Specificity is wealth. Generality is invisibility. And number three, your headshot reads at the level the breakdown was written for. We want the lighting, framing, expression, all signaling the tier you are at. If you got outdated, flat, or off-tone headshots, they make the casting director keep scrolling before they even read your resume. The actors who get the second Netflix audition, and the third and the fourth, are not the most surprising actors in the stack. They are the actors whose materials cleared the predictability bar the first time, so the casting director remembers them on the next submission as a known, yeah, no, they're like good. So now if you have a manager or an agent and you're still not getting these Netflix level breakdowns, your reps are probably doing exactly the job they're supposed to do, and you don't understand what that job actually is. Most actors think that their reps are there to just throw their name into every breakdown that comes through. That is not what reps at this level do. A real rep is a filter system. They are protecting their relationships with the casting offices by only submitting actors the office is actually going to take seriously. If a casting director opens a manager's submission list and sees 10 actors who clearly don't fit the breakdown, that manager loses credibility at that office for months, if not longer. So your rep's not throwing you at every wall. They are choosing which walls to throw you at. Throwing someone at a wall is probably not the best analogy, but you get what I mean. And if the Netflix level wall isn't one of them, that's just data. It's not failure. Because the honest version is this. The rep is asking a question on every breakdown. Is my client one of the 3 actors at this level I am most confident will get a real look here based on what they have on file? If the answer is no, you don't get submitted. Not because they don't believe in you, but because submitting would cost them in the end. Here's what working actors do with that information. We got 3 moves. Number 1, every audition you get sent on is a unit of credibility your rep spent. So don't blow it on a tape you only had 4 hours to prep. Come on. Just move some things around, cancel the coffee you were going to go get, make that tape the proof your rep made the right call. Number 2, reps don't suddenly start submitting you to Netflix level offices because you ask them to. They start submitting you there because the smaller breakdowns they have been submitting you for started producing audition invitations and callback, maybe holds, maybe bookings. Your callback and booking history is your rep's case file when they go to pitch you to a bigger office. And number 3, a rep can write a pitch point. They cannot rewrite your resume credits. They cannot reshoot your reel for you. They can't retake your headshots. That work is yours. Your rep opens the door. You build the package that walks through it. So if this is all kind of like making sense to you, go ahead and drop a comment where you are right now. Are you no rep? Are you searching for reps? Sign between reps? I don't know. I want to see if we're like picking up what I'm putting down. Now this 4th part is what completely changed how I approach casting offices. And it is the part most actors at every level miss for some reason. When most actors think about getting on a casting director's radar, they think about submissions and auditions. They are the only 2 channels they're using, and that's a very tiny window. A wider channel is that casting directors at this level teach workshops. They speak on panels. They sit on juries at festivals. They even mentor actors at intensives. They show up at industry events. All of that is public information. All of that is accessible. And almost no actors are using it intentionally. Going to where they are does 2 things at the submission moment. Number 1, a name they recognize from the workshop they taught last month opens with a different weight than just a cold submission. It's not a guarantee, but the cold filter relaxes. You're not a stranger to them. And number 2, you hear them talk about what they look for in materials specifically. You get to watch what they pull apart in workshop readings. You see how they describe the difference between an actor who books and an actor who doesn't. That information goes straight into how you build your submission package the next time around if you are trying to target them. This is not networking in the LA handshaking sense. This is being in the room as the people whose attention you eventually want. So here's 2 practical moves for you. Go ahead and search what those casting directors are doing publicly. The workshops they teach and the festivals they're going to show up at, panels they're going to speak on. You guys got Google, you could do it. And then number 2, sign up for the workshop, attend the panel, watch how they work, introduce yourself like a working actor would. You're short, you're specific, and you're not doing a desperate pitch to them. Please, no, that's not what I'm saying to do. That is the part of the casting relationship that lives outside of submissions and auditions. And it is the part most actors are completely not using. Honestly, because of that, I decided to put a little bit of it in my own hands. So if you want to sign up for my actor newsletter and also get a free audition tracker, go ahead and click the link in the description for the audition tracker down below. You will then be allowed to get a weekly newsletter where I say other casting directors and events coming up that they might be working on that maybe you can go attend and check out. I don't know. I just like to help actors. And speaking of helping actors, if you're not subscribed yet, this is the work I get into every single week. Go ahead, hit subscribe, tap the bell. Rather you be here with me in the next one than trying to find me out there on the interwebs. That's hard. Now, thing 5 is the one that ties all of this together. The biggest thing you don't understand about Netflix level auditions. By the time you walk into that audition or your tape gets watched, the hard fight is already over. The casting director already said yes to you on the materials. You already cleared the filter your rep set. You already beat out hundreds of thousands of other submissions whose materials didn't get the slot. That is not how most actors are taught to think about it. Most actors think the audition is the moment. They train the craft, the technique, the self-tape execution, all of which matters, of course, none of which gets used if you didn't win the submission moment first. That's why I focus on it so much in the Working Actors Blueprint with my mentees, because here is the line I want you to actually carry with you. Most actors are training to win a moment they're never even getting to. The actors who get Netflix level auditions are creating the moment that produces them. So once you flip that, once you start training the submission moment with the same intensity you've been training the audition moment, the breakdowns start arriving. Here's what understanding that actually teaches you. Number 1, the audition is the reward. It's not the test. The test happened earlier. You're in. Number 2, talent matters in the room. Materials matter in the inbox. Most actors are sharpening the second layer without doing the first. And number 3, and this is the lesson the whole video is here to teach you about, winning the submission gets you into the conversation. But there is still one specific skill that decides whether you become the actor whose name comes up when a casting director is putting a project together, or the actor still grinding to win every single submission individually. That skill is the difference between being submitted and being remembered. So if you want to know exactly what that is, go ahead and watch that video right here. All right, I hope that was helpful. I'll see you guys next time. Mwah!